5, 6, 7, 8. Hello there and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be sharing what's in my flight bag. So I have my flight bag right here and I'm going to show you guys what's in it, and I've broken it down into two categories. First is what I take on training days, so that's days when I'm not doing cross countries, that's days when I'm going to the practice area to do maneuvers. Also, I'll be sharing what I take for longer flights such as cross countries, cross country solos, and night flights. So the first thing that must be in your bag is your pilot's license. So whether that's your student pilot license, your private pilot license, your commercial, ATPL, whatever license you hold, that should be one of the first things in your flight bag. So I have here my FAA private pilot's license, and when I was training I had my student pilot's license as well. And since the FAA pilot's license does not have a photo of yourself on it, the next thing required by the FAA is a photo ID. So I have here my driver's license from Jamaica, or if you don't have your driver's license and you're an international student, you could also opt to carry along your passport. Once it's a valid government issued ID that has your picture on it, you can travel with that as your valid photo ID. Now the next document or item required by the FAA for you to have on your person is your medical. I have a valid second class medical, which it says here, if you can see. Second class medical. So whatever medical you hold, it must be valid and it must be on you once you're operating and using the privileges of your pilot's license. It says here, conditions of use. The holder of this certificate must have it in his or her personal possession at all times while exercising privileges of an airman certificate. And that's found in 14 CFR part 61.3. And if there are any limitations on your medical, for example, in my case, I wear corrective lenses, and it says here on my medical, must wear corrective lenses. So that brings me to the next item, my corrective lenses. So that could either be in the form of your physical glasses like I have here, or if you have contact lenses, then if it's on your medical, you cannot legally operate a flight without your corrective lenses in place. And if you notice, my corrective lenses have now turned into sunglasses, which is another thing you can add to your flight bag. Or if you do not wear corrective lenses, you can always use regular sunglasses. But in my case, I have transitions, so when I'm in the sun, they transform into sunglasses almost. So it serves a dual purpose. So I need glasses to see, to fly, and I also need sunglasses for the sun. So, you know, having transitions is helpful because I don't need to have a second pair of glasses. Even though when I was training, I didn't have transition lenses, so I had to have two pairs of glasses, and I would just put my sunglasses over my tested glasses, which you can see in my first solo flight video. And they're changing color again because I'm back inside, so in a few minutes they'll be clear again. So the next item you want to carry with you in your flight bag is your kneeboard. Here it is, and this one is from Flight Gear. I got it as a part of my flight bag from the flight school I'm attending, or I was attending. And when you open up this kneeboard, you see that it's not just a kneeboard. It has a holder for your pens, which you should also have in your flight bag. It has a pocket where you can store things. I like to keep my E6B in here, and also scrap paper and additional pencils. You could also have a flashlight in here for your night flights. So this kneeboard doubles as storage, my checklist. So that brings me to my next one, which is my checklist. So for whatever airplane you're flying, there is a checklist that comes with it, and that's very important for you to have because you need it for your pre-flight and you need it for your when you're flying as well. It's one checklist, but it has several sections for every phase of your flight. So it's very important for you to have your checklist. Here is the kneeboard outside of the bag. It's just like a regular clip. It's just like a regular clipboard. So it has that section where you can clip papers onto and clip your checklist on as well. And this one is handy. It's not just a regular clipboard because it has flight information on airport traffic light signals, which is important for us to remember, but having it on your kneeboard is also very helpful. And I'll give you a close-up of this particular kneeboard. Alright, so here we have clipboard or kneeboard. It has basic VFR weather minimums, airport traffic light signals, cruising altitudes, emergency checklist, your A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah, your A, B, C, D, E checklist, and lots of other things. It has a phonetic alphabet, but who doesn't know the phonetic alphabet? Like, really? Comment down below if you don't know the phonetic alphabet. Well, if you're just starting out, maybe you don't, but it's easy to remember. So yeah, that type of stuff. And yeah, it's in the whole kneeboard. And this kneeboard is handy because the straps here allow you to strap it around your leg. And so you have a stable area in your lap to write on while you're flying. And I'll give you a close-up of the kneeboard in use. So in addition to your checklist, your flight plan, your charts. This is a VFR chart if you're flying VFR. If you're flying IFR, you know you need your IFR chart and maybe your plotter. You also need with you your weight and balance calculations because that's very important. You should have done that before you walked out of the airplane, so it would have been in your flight bag. And as I said, I like to keep all of those things inside my kneeboard because it's a handy storage place. And you also want to have your airport diagram as well, so that when you are navigating the airport, you can have a full situational awareness of where you are and avoid potentially having a runway incursion, especially if you are not familiar with the airport that you're operating at. If you have an electronic flight bag, then it will be good to have an iPad with you with up-to-date charts, weather information and all that type of stuff. But since I have a paper, I have a traditional flight bag, I have actual paper charts and maps and things like that in my flight bag. But if you have your iPad and it's up to date, then kudos to you. Now the next most important thing that should be in your flight bag is your headset. And I have mine right here. Alright, so you have to have your headset. Ensure it's clean, ensure it's functional. When you get into the airplane, do a little check to ensure that it's working. Usually I would do that with my instructor. We both put our headsets on and see if we can hear each other. And the next thing you want to have with you is your logbook. It's not a must that you carry a logbook, but I like to have it so that immediately after a flight, I can right away put in my hours, my landings, and all the requirements to fill out your logbook. So that way you are kept up to date so that you don't forget about any hours, because hours are very important in the aviation industry. The next thing I like to have in my flight bag is a headlight or a flashlight or both, because even though this is for training days, you could do a flight and you get stuck because of whether you have to wait, and then you end up coming back when it's night, because that actually happened to me on one flight. And if I didn't have my headlight, I would be in trouble. I wouldn't be able to fly at night. The airplane has lights which help you to see outside, but the headlight helps you to see inside the cockpit, helps you to see your maps and charts, and it has two lights. It has a white light and a red light, and the red light is good for your night vision. So you'd use the white light to do your pre-flight around the airplane, and then when you get inside the cockpit, you would use your red light. And this headlight is from Flight Outfitters. And you just put it on, readjust the hair, and you can adjust the angle of the light. So if you want it to shine up on the cockpit, you angle it up. And if you want it to shine down on your maps, you just angle it down. See? Yeah. And there you have it. And it uses AAA batteries to ensure that you have extra batteries in your flight bag for your headlight. And last but not least, when there's an airplane passing, airplane, and last but not least, you want to have water. Water, because training, especially if you're training in the summer, you can get hot and you can get dehydrated very easily. That's one of the things that they told us when we started flight school, is to beware of dehydration, right? Because you're up there, you're training, you're sweating a lot. Some people don't realize that these small airplanes, well, at least where I was training, they don't have air conditioning. So while you're doing your pre-flight, you're getting hot and sweaty. If you have to walk a distance to the plane, you're getting hot and sweaty. And when you're up in the air, unless you're at a really high altitude, you are hot. You're training in the sun, you're sweating, and you're trying to focus. So you sweat a lot and you can get dehydrated easily. So always fly with water. And if you fly with more than one bottle, just ensure to include it in your weight and balance calculations, because water is weighty. I also like to take snacks along with me when I train, because I get hungry quickly. So I'll have snacks. I'll have a granola bar or some other type of snack along with my water. Alright, so I like to have a banana and some trail mix, right? Good stuff. And one more thing, if you're flying right now and you don't have something that look like this, or this, or this, or a bottle of sanitizer in your flight bag, yeah, you're not flying in 2020. Today is June 5th, 2020, and if you're flying at this time, you should probably have these things in your flight bag as well. Maybe a smaller bottle of this rubbing alcohol, or just a regular bottle of sanitizer, some form of wipes. These are antibacterial wipes, and a mask. Yeah, because that's the time we're living in right now, so you gotta protect yourself. Stay safe, everybody. Usually I would do that with people don't realize that those small, some people don't know,